What the shit? Why am I not live? I should be. Okay, there we are. There we go. Yeah, I gotta turn that down. All right, quick live because I am lazy to make a video in DaVinci. Quick update. Well, the Next Gen Retix podcast, should be done uploading soon. I started uploading it last night, and I kind of like minimized the screen or whatever, so it just never fully uploaded. So it's finishing uploading now. That will be out tonight, hopefully. And then what's up after that? Yeah, yeah, Mason, I'm on here. You need to post some pictures of your Sumatran's breeding. Um, Next week's podcast, I think we're doing that Wednesday. I forget who's even all on. It keeps changing constantly because everybody's schedule is it's tough once you get more than literally one person to try to match up everyone's schedule. So, uh, so yeah, I forget who's on. It changed like four times, but I think there's five of us total for next week. I'll have to look to see who's on. Um, oh, I did pair up a pair of wild-caught ternates today. I've never done this breeding before, um, so I'm excited for that. They locked up in like 10 minutes after putting them together. It's one of my bigger females. A lot of side banding, a lot of weird back diamond shapes. So I'm hoping to get a lot of decent side banding and a lot of aberrant back pattern out of that clutch, as long as she gives me a clutch, because she's old as shit. So we will see if, yeah, if she actually is still able to produce eggs. Then I'm thinking about doing a different couple different types of lives, and I'm not. I was thinking about doing something like a free promotion Friday, where I'll jump on live, and if anybody wants to come on, if they got a clutch or they got a business or they got some breeding they're doing that they're excited about and want to talk about, or if you got a new website or some new postings on Morph Market, whatever. Basically, I think I'm gonna call it Free Promotion Friday if people want to do it. It's no big deal if people don't, but if they want to come on and mention, I can send out a link uh, right during the live. You can hop in the Riverside studio and come on and talk about your stuff. I figured that I figured that'd be a good thing to do. I mean, some people don't really want to go live, and some people don't care. So I don't know. I just figured it give people an opportunity, a little bit bigger of a platform, YouTube, than just talking about it on Facebook. And I did get my switcher, which I can't show you because I'd have to disconnect it. But I can. What's up, Chris? I was just saying. I was just saying that the whatchamacallit, the podcast that we did the other day, it's taking forever to upload, but it'll be out tonight, so it's going. But what the hell was I saying? Oh yeah, I got the switcher, and it I'll be able to do. I'll be able to show snakes on the lives now. So that got here a couple days ago. It's all hooked up, ready to go. I'm hoping. I don't know if I'll be able to do one this week or not because I still got to set up some lighting. I gotta do the backdrop. This looks like shit. This this white wall behind me. And plus, with how I'm lit, it basically is just smashing light bouncing off of this white wall back into my camera lens. So it's driving me crazy, even though nobody else is probably giving a shit. So I got to put up. I'm gonna put up my things that I usually used to have behind me, and then we'll be ready to go. So I think I might get to that this week, and if not, it'll be the beginning of next week. So I'll try to have that rolling. And I think the first live with snakes, I think I'm gonna bring up some Faluku stuff, which is gonna suck because they're gonna bite the shit out of me. So that's probably not gonna be a good sales pitch live, considering it'll probably just me bleeding all over the place trying to show these snakes. Um, got Dubs on there, and I forget who you are, even though we talked about this a live or two ago, because I'm horrible with names. So, um, and I got to talk to the people doing the podcast. Um, in the software I use, the streaming service I use, it actually allows you to have call-ins. Like it wouldn't be live like on YouTube or anything, but what it would be is it'd be like a Zoom call where you can actually have an audience. And so I think I'm gonna open that up. I think I'm gonna try opening up to my Patreon people first to see how it goes, and then go from there. So if there's 4 or 5 of us doing a podcast, you can call in and talk. I think I was gonna call it like ask a breeder or something like that. Some dumb generic name, which I probably don't need to give it a name. I can just, if you want to call in and talk while we're doing a podcast, that's cool. So, but yeah, man, that's what I got going on. Uh, Mason sent me some pictures earlier today of the Sumatrans breeding. So that'll be the first. Man, I don't even know when the last clutch of Sumatrans were. Because like pure to Sumatra to Sumatra has actually not been done very many times in the U.S. that I know of. It might have been accidentally done a couple times with some wild caught stuff, like wild caught morphs. Um, but I don't know. I don't know if Mason's still on here, but he probably knows the last breeding. It would probably been whenever Wolfgang did it. I think that would have been the last breeding. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about let me know what you think about Free Promotion Friday. And I'll just basically open that up to anybody that wants to come on and promote their shit. And yeah, I'll have to talk to people that are doing the podcast if they'd be cool with it basically having an audience and uh letting people come on and ask them questions while we do it. Did you guys catch Rob's podcast on Trap Talk last night? Rob was on there talking about island morphs. I caught some of it. So 2020. Yep. The last breeding was 20. Yeah. Oh, Dylan's going to be on. Dylan, aren't you going to be on the podcast this coming week? I think Dylan's coming on. Yeah. Mason, was there? I don't know of another Sumatran breeding uh, prior to 2020, a Sumatran to Sumatran. Funny story. A long time ago, I called Samson and didn't tell him who I was. This was a long time ago, and because I caught wind that he was selling imported Sumatrans, saying that I produced them. And I called him. I was like, "Oh, hey, I heard you have Sumatrans." He's like, "Yeah, they were produced by Rodney Bullock. These are the best example of Sumatrans I've ever seen." Blah blah blah. And I said, "Well, that's funny because you're talking to Rodney Bullock, and I've never once bred Sumatrans." He's like, "Oh, well, thank you, brother. Thank you for letting me know." But it's like, dude, fuck you, scumbag. Like, just that was probably, oh my, that was close to 15 years ago, over 10 years ago, because I wasn't living here in the house I'm in now, so it was before that. But yeah, he made up some bullshit story because I caught wind. Somebody was like, "Hey, like Samson was promoting captive born and bred Sumatrans that he got from you." I'm like, "Yeah, that motherfucker didn't get nothing from me, let alone captive born and bred Sumatrans that I've never made." So, but yeah, it was a funny story. Yeah, okay. Every pure you've came across was from that breeding. Yeah, I honestly don't know of any other Sumatran Sumatran breedings that just that's been done other than that one that Wolfgang did. That's it. That's the only one I know of. No. Yeah. Mason, did you post any pictures up or any videos of that yet? I'll be curious to see what kind of interest there's going to be in it because I think there's going to be a lot more interest in Sumatran, Malaysian, and Bali. I think you're going to see now that people aren't exactly trying to chase the impossible 5 to 6 foot adult retic. Now that that nonsense is kind of gone, I think people are going to be branching out more into other localities where they're just going to be trying to get some traits for their projects and not worried so much about whether or not the snake's going to stay under 6 feet or 7 feet or whatever. All right. Yeah, maybe for Fridays, it'll just what we'll do is maybe for Fridays I'll just let other breeders come on. If other breeders want to come on and just talk about their shit, we could do that. If you guys are up for that, Dylan can come on and talk about how important it is to have a website. Yeah, it's yeah, that it's up on Trap Talk. I don't think it was a real long uh podcast. I think it was about an hour, maybe an hour and a half. Sometimes MJ's podcast can be quite long, like 3 hours. But me and Spencer have had some 2 and 3 hour podcasts too. We just start bullshitting. So I'm gonna try to talk Spencer into moving the podcast episodes to recording on the weekends. I think that'll be our best bet to be able to round everybody up. Uh, yeah, I'm trying for a fractalist pairing soon, and I'm really excited to get that going. Um, Dylan, what do you got going on for this year? I haven't. That's one thing I haven't talked to Dylan yet about what his pairings were for this year. Maybe we don't want to talk about that. Maybe we want to save all that for the podcast excitement. No. What's some topics you think? What's some topics you guys? I'm gonna write them down actually because I got a pen and notepad here. I'm curious as some topics you want to see covered on the podcast. So far, because I kind of this is kind of Spencer's thing. Because Spencer wanted to do a podcast and I have all the shit, so I was like, "What's up? We can do it whenever." So, but what's some topics you guys think we should cover? Some general topics that maybe we should cover. Uh, no, I wouldn't say every podcast, but general questions to probably need asked of the people on there each time. So I'd be curious to see what you guys think. I did tell Spencer I think we need to start having fewer people on because once you get 5 or 6, it starts to get people don't really get enough airtime for each person. So I think we're going to probably drop it down to 4 um, here pretty soon. So allow everybody to get a little more airtime. Plus, everybody that's been on can come back on anytime they want. Yeah, save it for the podcast. Yeah, Dylan, you really need to push the whole website thing. I really wish people were a little bigger, a little bigger on their websites since there's like who has websites in Retix? There's me, Dylan, Reach Out, Rob, if you want to count Bob Clark, but we're not going to really count him. He's kind of his own entity. Um, who the hell else? I can't really like. That's it. There's like 4 people in all of Retix that have websites. It's like you need. They're like 20, $30 a month, man. Just get. Okay, yeah. Yeah, live blackjack with guests. That would be tough. I'll try it. I just won't put in a ton of money because I'll 100% lose it. Okay. So, biggest challenge is to learn how to breed, what to look for. That's actually that's easy. I can answer that question right now. Um, if you start writing shit down, if you start writing down shed cycles, um, it's really easy to learn. I am gonna write this down now. Biggest challenges. If you start documenting shed cycles and what the snakes are doing, like if you start noticing your female is getting more aggressive and constantly wanting to eat, write down the date. Um, write down the date when that kind of dissipates. Write down the date when she starts moving over to the cold side, and keep track of all the shed cycles. If you do that, you'll see a pattern, um, like a really obvious pattern of them going through the motions. So that's probably the biggest thing to look for is just behavioral differences. Because females typically go through a couple phases. They get kind of bitchy and they want to eat constantly, and then they start to head over to the cold side, and they usually hit a shed, and they don't really move much. They stay on the cold side for the most part, and they don't move much, and they usually hit a second shed after that, and it's usually after that second shed is when they're ready to breed. But yeah, they're usually kind of active, kind of bitchy, want to eat constantly, and then all of a sudden they just do a 180. They're just like sitting in a corner, curled up. They don't want to do anything. I made a list of questions on Facebook group for Spencer. Okay, good. Yeah. I'd be interested in hearing from anyone who has experience on maternal incubation. I've never done that, maternal incubation. Um, I know I have literally zero experience with that. The reason I don't do it is because there's so many things that can go wrong. There's just, if there's even, especially if there's a little bit of mold in the cage or something, and like just messing with the female, I don't know. Where if she lays them right over the hot spot, um, the bottom eggs are for sure getting cooked. So, yeah. So, Jim, what kind of website are you designing? You gone like full out, like you designing it, like you're building it, like coding it, or are you just are using a drag and drop builder like I use because they're super easy and I don't want to learn how to code, especially with AI coming. Okay, let's see. Yeah, I don't use any apps. Usually, what I do, I don't do it as much anymore. I either take um, I usually just take a notebook and let it in the snake room, and then I just write stuff down. I didn't even, and I'm getting to the point where I don't even write stuff down for the reticks. I'm starting to try to keep track more of stuff like my Halmahara scrubs and my Timor pythons and my Peruvian redtails. I'm trying to I'm trying to learn their behaviors. I'm trying to keep track of shed cycles and stuff on them, so I know what to look for them. Because especially with the uh, Halma scrubs and the Timors, because neither one of those like to breed in captivity. Well, that's not true. I got all of mine to breed. They just don't lay eggs, so I'm halfway there. I think my Timor is gonna go this year. If she doesn't, I'll be pissed. She's a lot bigger than she was last season. She's bred the last couple seasons. I just didn't get any eggs. Anyone else with Super Malukus notice they have a bigger bulldog head compared to SD? No, that's how they. Yeah, that's just because of the ternate trait. Yeah, ternates have a noticeably different head. If like you look at an adult ternate versus an adult super dwarf, their heads are very different. Yeah, I would use something like an app for this stuff, but that's just one more thing that I'd have to log into and do. So I'm not doing it. I can write it down. I can actually write this down write all that information down on a piece of paper quicker than I put it into an app. Drag and drop. Jim, are you still moving out all your super dwarfs? Are you still moving out all the retics, or are you gonna hold on to some of them? If you don't sell them soon, send a couple females up here. I'll breed them for you. I'll breed them to something. I wouldn't mind. I could use some super dwarf turn 8 marbles because they sell super well. Oh, really? They're all sold. No, there are no free website builders. I'll build you a website for like 20 bucks an hour, which is dirt ass cheap. Check out Dylan's. I helped him. I helped build that one. Yeah. I honestly I honestly thought you were going to just back out on selling your super door. So I thought you were just end up keeping them, to be honest. Hey Robert, is your Super Maluku, is it a male or a female? I can't, for some reason I think you have a male, but I might be wrong. I don't know why I think that. Yeah, got the baby coming. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I thought it was a male. I don't know. There was a couple that went out like at the same time, and I couldn't remember which one went to you. We do have a clutch of Super Malukus coming. They took a, I was surprised. Super Malukus, they, I mean, there was some demand for them, but there wasn't as much as I thought they would be. I think there will be more, and I think there'll be much more demand for Super Malukus in the future, to be honest. Okay. Which would be the coolest to breed to a Madu to make 50-50 turn? That depends because it depends on the look of the Madu. If it's a Madu that has more of a striped out back pattern with a lot of side banding, I'd probably run I'd probably run a Halma to it or a Mindanao. But if you were trying to get if you can actually hold on, I gotta fix my fucking if you can actually find a Madu that has like a lot of sharp back diamonds that are pretty separated, I'd run a turn A to them. There's not a lot of those getting produced, or any. I don't think there's really any of those getting produced in the U.S. because um, pretty much all the Medus come from just a handful of wild caughts, like two or three or four. Like pretty much every well, captive born Medus came from just those 2 to 4 snakes, and a lot of them all come from one specific female, and she, I had her for a long time, and she had a pretty connected, almost striped out back pattern, and she had a lot of side banding, so there's a lot of color and pattern outlining going on. But with that, I would probably just lean into it and use something like a Halma. Yeah, yeah. The Medusa overseas and over in Indo, there's quite a different look to them. There's Medusas that you can't even really distinguish from a Calato, to be honest. And then there's Medus that also have a very similar look to a Kayawati. There's been a lot of very Coyote-ish back patterns coming off of Medu, and you just don't see them over here, but they're 100%, they're 100% out there. They're actually easy to mistake for a Coyote. Yeah, have you posted any pictures of that Annery Medu, Dylan? I can't. I think you sent me a picture of it, but I don't know if you posted it anywhere. I'm working on getting in a breeder male Mocha Tiger because I want to breed it to a Mindanao. I definitely want to breed it to a Mindanao. With how nice Mindanao tigers look, because they look super yellow, super bright. Um, I'd really like to make the Mocha version of that and make them really, really, really bright. Yeah, what is the lineage of that? Do you know the lineage of that Medu? Was that from like an F1 or F2 female from my line? I think it was bred from that into like a wild caught or something. I forget. I forget what Josh's Medus were. Or was that, did he have the wild caught ones that he bred? Because I remember, didn't he have two Medus? Like, he did a Medu, and the other one was like a Medu, like Orange Glow Ocelot or something, if I remember correctly. I can't remember. Yeah. Yeah, those Medus have a pretty noticeable look to them. They all look like, not all of them, but they all have a very similar look to the wild caught female and the wild caught male. And if I don't have anything posted into my switcher yet, but if I can put media into my switcher, and if I did, I could actually pull up a picture of the uh, wild caught Paramedusa breeding back. I think I did that. I don't know, 2011. I think, I don't know. Yeah, the Felucas look really nice. Um, Felucas look. Yeah, they. I knew they were gonna look nice. I knew they were gonna look super nice because of the female ternate I used. So I'm gonna try to do a fractalist Mindanao this year to get a. I'm going for a back pattern look this year. Like this last season, I was going for color, and yeah, they're in person. They're pretty nice looking. Like you almost have to see them in person to fully understand them. So I was hoping the Faluku tribals there would be more interest in. But I mean, it's kind of a hard sell because they're like, "Oh, fuck you! You're just trying to charge us $2,500 for a Motley." What's up, William? Love the Timor pythons. I've never seen one. I've never seen one at a show before. Are you planning to breed Timors? I've been trying to breed Timors, and I've been breeding Timors. I'm just not getting eggs, so I'm doing fantastic at breeding Timors. I'm failing miserably at actually producing them. But yeah, no, Timors are, I you know I don't know. Timors are on par with how much I like retics. Like they're pretty much even. Like some, I'll say like retics are number one than Timors, but if I'm being honest, it's pretty much they're pretty much neck and neck. Timors are such a neat snake, but you have to get them when they're small, and you have to work with them like crazy because if you don't, they're just like this. They're kind of like a shyer version of a wild caught super dwarf. If anybody's ever worked with a wild caught super dwarf and know how flighty and fucking spraying piss and everything, imagine that. Only they get so upset that they stop eating. Like the like a retic, they'll act like that, but they'll still eat every day. Where Team Wars, they'll go off food. They'll get all worked up. So you have to really work with them. But no, I'm surprised that the amount of people that are into super dwarfs and the dwarf localities. I'm amazed at how many people are into those, but they aren't also into Team Wars. And I honestly don't understand how. Uh, I don't understand how like you can be into super dwarfs and not be into Team Wars, to be honest, because they're smaller, they're prettier, they're neater looking in person. They really are, and if they're not all nervous and stuff, they're actually friendlier and easier to work with. The ones that aren't nervous and are okay with being handling, they're actually, in all honesty, they're a better pet than a super dwarf, like hands down. But you just have to work with them. So I really hope I get a clutch this year because I just want to make some for myself that I can raise up and have them be cool and easy to work with. And Team Wars is something that I'd really like to start. I think I'm getting a female off of Andrew. I think he's got like a 4 or 5 foot import. I think I might add her to the group. Then I need to get one more male that'd give me a 2.2. I don't understand why more people aren't into Team Wars. It's because there aren't any morphs in them. There are, but they're not here. That's why. Because there's no morphs. If there was morphs, that's how shit gets popular. It has to have a morph. It has to have a bunch of morphs. And once it has a bunch of morphs, then they can treat them like ball pythons, and then they hype them up, and then everybody wants them. Yeah, yeah, that is a nice aspect of the Feluccu travels with the zero mainland blood, and the turn 8 influence definitely helped the tribal morph 100%. But the Timors would be a great animal for nice cages. I I really hope I can hit on them this year, and I hope if I hit on them, I'm definitely going to be doing lives with them and showing them and talking about them because I just don't think they got hyped up when everybody had their stupid fucking COVID money and their prices went through the roof. And then the COVID money ran out, and then the prices, they tried to keep them high, and then everybody just didn't have the money to waste, which was unfortunate because they got hyped up basically for the wrong reasons. And, I mean, because there's a lot of places you can't keep retics, but you can keep a Timor, and they're basically just a smaller, safer, better version of a retic. So I really hope I do hit on them, and I can start talking about them more. I'd really like to hit on my Halma scrubs too. I had two of my three girls breeding last year, but I didn't get any eggs. They're eating like crazy right now, so I'm hoping they're gonna go through the motions. So those things, those things are, I don't know. They're kind of like a cross between a mean retic and a scared Timor python. They're just like super violent, and they get upset and will stop eating, or they'll just get picky. I had one that for years ate frozen thawed rats and then just stopped for like a whole year, and now she's back on it. Yeah, I'll let you know if I produce the Timors, as long as I produce enough to sell, because I got to produce at least five if I want to sell any, because I'll probably be keeping 2.2. Yeah, yeah, and that dude, they did that. That shit happened with not only Team Wars, man. That happened with what was it? Doomerals bows went from like $100 to like six, seven, $800 for like no reason, which was ridiculous because I was wholesaling them for $65 a piece. Um, and then what was it? White lips, even northern. I had just sold my breeding group of northern white lips, and the next season they went up to like 1,000 a piece or something. When I had last time I made them, I was getting like 250 a piece or something. And I just sold my northern white lips and my doomerals, and they had went in the next within a year they had went up like 500%. It was ridiculous. I wish I would have got into dwarf localities. I had a chance to get into dwarf locality boas a while ago, and I didn't. I should have. I actually do like a lot of gyms. I think into aren't Corn Islands dwarfs. Uh, Yeah, even the southern white lips, they're actually still high on the price list. Last time I saw them on the wholesale sheet, I think they were still asking close to $1,000. Yeah, how big do those corn islands get? They don't get very big, do they? What are they, like a 4 foot, 3 foot, something like that? Yeah, they're not. What was it? Was it Pearl Island? Is that a real boa, or am I just confused? Isn't Pearl Island a small dwarf boa? I had a chance to get, I think it was those, and I didn't get them. Yeah, I have uh, the Peruvians, the Iquitos. I've always liked Peruvians, so I'm hoping. Yeah, I thought Pearl. I didn't think I was delusional. I thought that was a real thing. Uh, so I'm really hoping to hit my Peruvians. They've bred the last 2 seasons and just nothing. So I don't know. We'll see. The thing about those Peruvians, you have to hold a bunch of them back to see what their colors do. My female's really light, but she's an aberrant color or aberrant pattern. So some people like that aberrant shit, and some people don't. I like the aberrant shit. My tricolor monitors are almost big enough to breed. Not that I got to get them bigger cages. I got to get them into like giant cages. You're back on your green tree kick. Not me. No, I can't hang out too long. Does anybody got any want to hit me with some questions before I jump off here? Go ahead and hit me with some questions. I can hang out for another 15 minutes. Got 11 people watching. Yeah, tricolor, they're cool to look at. That's about the only thing about them that's cool. They're huge assholes. I mean, dude, they're so violent. The tricolors, man, they just try to attack you. It's crazy. So I had an idea for the cages I want to build them, and then I talked to some people that trap them on Halma, and so I'm rethinking it. Because I thought, I was like, man, I know they're in the trees a lot, but no, they actually have to bait them. They put bait traps at the bottom of trees, and they come down out of the trees to get the bait, and that's how they catch them. Do you think my Anery Anthrax project is worthwhile? Yes. Yeah, I definitely think it's worthwhile. 100%. If you could get it into, yeah, I mean it's definitely worthwhile. If you can get another gene in there with it, if you can get another third gene in there, that'd definitely be worth it. So if you could add, purple, or you could add tiger or something, just try to get at least a third gene in there. That'll kind of set you up for holdbacks and stuff. What do you think a pure SD newborn should be priced? Um, I don't know. I can tell you what. Uh, I honestly I don't know. I mean, a pure Kalatoa. Oh, pure. Okay, hold on. I'm trying to read like three different things. Okay, what do you think a pure SD newborn and a pure Kalatoa female should be priced at? I don't know. If I was in the market for one, for a pure, I would buy whichever one looked better. You know, that, like, because if I was to get one, it wouldn't. It'd probably be more for locality and morph crosses. So I would buy whichever one would look better. But I would say, I don't know, 1,000 to 15 on the pure SD, and maybe 12 to 2 on the Kalatoa. I'm a bad one to ask on that stuff because I haven't produced a pure. I don't think I've produced a pure super dwarf of any type since it's been, I don't know, 10 years. So I'm actually a bad one to ask on this pricing. Best locality for increasing color palette. Uh, Probably depends which way you're gonna go on color. So yeah, that's hard to for overall color. I'd have to say the best thing you could get would be one of those Felucas because they probably have the widest range of color I've ever seen on a retic, which I anticipated that, but I didn't think I was going to be right, to be honest. Uh, they actually had more color. They had got more color than I even thought than I expected. So I would say actually a Feluca is your best chance of increasing color palette, to be honest, just based on everything I've seen, because they definitely have the widest range of colors. But it also depends on what you're trying to do. What is your favorite locality scrub? That'd be Halmahara. Well, there's a goofy island. There's some islands that have some neat scrubs that no one knows about, and I saw an all black one from this one island, and it was actually in the Maluku. So maybe that's my favorite. I got to see more of them, but as of right now, it's the Halmas. Okay. Okay. So yeah, that's right. You did say that, Chris. You're working the Indo and Halma into it. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good project. I think it's a good long-term project, especially if it's something you're doing for you. Why not? Most of the shit I start, it's all long-term stuff that I just want to see. Um, okay, if that snake you posted earlier today turns out to be a new, more similar to blue hypo, what do you plan on naming it? I don't know. Not ternate blue hypo. Well, blue hypos, in my opinion, the word hypo shouldn't really be in that name because I can't realistically, I don't think they are hypos. I don't see where the hypomelanistic aspect of that animal is. It just seems to be a little lighter. So you know what I mean. So I think it's more of a pattern mutation than it is a color mutation. So I don't know. I'll have to see how it functions. I mean, it really looks like the Ternate version of that, and I'm pretty sure there's been quote unquote blue hypos found on Sumatra and in Malaysia, so it's at least a common morph to pop up in different areas. We've seen that with Platy, we've seen that with you had the Motleys pop up here supposedly, then you had the um, tribals on Bow Island, and then there was a very similar motley morph that came out of Lesser Sunda somewhere. It might have even been Bali. It was either Bali or Java. I can't remember which one came out of there. Um, so yeah, I mean that would so that shit pops up. I mean, there's only so many things a pattern can do. So when morphs pop up, there's only so many versions. I guess there's only so many things that could actually happen genetically to change the phenotype. You know, so I think I don't want to say it's limited, but I mean you're not gonna get. I mean you're not probably gonna get some morph that creates perfectly geometrical shapes or nothing. So I mean you're gonna end up with a pattern mutation of some sort or a color mutation of some sort, obviously. So, but I don't know. I mean there's a lot going on with that snake. She even has. I'll have to show it. She even has like black lines running down her belly scales, which is weird, very strange. Um, and funny thing is she's related to a another weird retic that popped out of a clutch that looks kind of. I don't want to say it looks like a Bali blacktail. It doesn't. It doesn't. Because some of the Bali blacktail stuff has a little more back pattern, uh, aberrant look to it in the last, last part of the body, where this snake has more of a weird look to it in the first half of the body. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. There was just, I don't know if it was that lyric more for the Bali blacktail. They just bred into a uh, Sulawesi, and they just showed a picture of it in the egg over in Indo. It was fucking amazing. Like, it was like better than Ocelot. Amazing. At least what I could see. What I could see looked more impressive than an Ocelot, to give you an idea how nice it looked. And that was just with throwing in some Sulawesi blood. Yeah, black scrub would be a mesmerizing. I'd love to see those readings in the States. Well, we got to get those scrubs here first. That's been a huge problem to actually get those scrubs, because I know of at least three at least three islands that have scrubs on them, just in the Moluccas, that people don't know there's scrubs there. Uh, how Ternate doesn't have scrubs. I don't believe Tidore does either, but there's some larger islands down near Bacan and Obai that has them, and then in the central Solas, I think Sanana does. And if they have it, then Taliabu and Mangoli probably have them as well, because they're literally right beside each other. So, well, if you got any more questions, hit me with them. I'll hang out for a few more. Hopefully that fucking video's done uploading. Yeah, how about it? Well, hell, there's people right on those islands. They all got Facebook and they all got cell phones. That's how I see all that shit. Cell phone pictures. Yeah, if I was super rich, that's all I would do is just go to islands and find new shit. Take it easy. Is it difficult to get permits to import? No, no. You just have to jump through some. You just have to jump through some red tape. Anybody can import. You just got to get a shipping agent. You got to get your importer's license. That's it. The problem is finding a good connection, over a good trustworthy connection in Indo. But I was starting to set up, like, when I was getting retics, I was real close to having a thing set up where, because I was talking to a lot of different people on a lot of different islands, so I was trying to start basically a network for retics, for hunters, to hit, to get the stuff from wherever we needed it. And we were real close. We were real close to having that set up. Right now, I'm trying to get it set up because I want to start getting in locality Wagler's vipers, because their range is pretty decent, and like the Banca, look up Banca Wagglers. They're pretty neat. High green, like a yellowish green, just awesome snakes. And there's also like turquoise ones and all kinds of shit. And I'm really trying to get into breeding island locality Wagler's vipers, so I'm working on that. What's your breeding plans for this year? F1 ternates, Fractalus ternates, 75% ternate Motley Tigers, 75% ternate marbles, which I actually might not hit on, because that was because the snake I bred was the one that just had came back from Lucas, and I have a feeling that she was just kind of going through some weird stuff coming back. So I'm a little iffy on that. I might have to breed something else. Then let's see what else. Oh, I said those three, and then the Fractalus ternate, then Fractalus Mindanaos. What the hell else? I'm trying to make yellowhead. I'm trying to make Indo sun tigers with the yellowhead gene, and sun tigers with the yellowhead gene, het Indo. Trying to do that. Trying to make super dwarf anthraxes. Where am I at next? I'm going through the room in my head. Pure halmas. Gonna try to make pure ternates. If my pod girl wants to go, I'm gonna start a super dwarf pod project. I'm gonna try to do, if I can get a male in time, a breedable male mocha. I'm gonna try to get some sort of mocha project going, probably with the Mindanaos and possibly ternate. Where am I at? Super dwarf motley het Indos, super dwarf sun tigers het Indos. And if I'm lucky, I'm going, if my one ternate motley sun tiger wants to go, she's pos het Indo. I'm going to breed a motley sunfire het Indo. Hopefully she proves out, so I might be able to get a ton of stuff there. Ternate platy suns, 62.5%. Motley tiger super dwarfs. What am I missing? I think that's about it. Yeah, I think that's it. Oh, pure Mindanaos. I almost forgot that. So, yeah, that's what I'm shooting for. Then I got some stuff down at my buddy's house. We might actually see ternate super dwarf cows this year. So I'm hoping. If you got connections in New Guinea, Malaysia, and Indonesia, you should talk to Jim Tassetti, who's on here, because he's working on getting all that stuff set up too. That was for the retics. I'm also trying for Timor's Halmahara scrubs and Iquitos locality Peruvian redtails. I think that's it. I don't think my tricolor monitors are going to be big enough to even try. And again, that's such an iffy thing to put them together too, because I've been talking to people in Indo trying to breed them, and like they'll just fucking tear each other apart for literally no reason. So yeah, but if I get that mocha in, I'll probably try. I'll probably start the Mocha Mindanao and Mocha Ternate project. Get those going simultaneously. I think Mocha has a lot more potential than people realize. Yeah, Jim, if you guys get that set up, let me know, especially out of Malaysia, because I also want Malaysian blue corals, those Calliophis bivirgata. I love those snakes. I'd love to give it a couple of them. So yeah, I'll buy a whole. I'll get a whole box of venomous if you guys get it set up. There's so many. It'd be great to be able to get shit out of Thailand, man. The wagglers out of Thailand are insane. I'd love to get some Thailand locality wagglers. Jim, do you have a farm you're talking to yet over in Indo? Because I've actually talked to Spencer about this. I should tell Spencer to get on here and talk. I was like, Spencer, we need to start an import business. Because he was talking about maybe start. He was like, oh, what kind of business could we do? I was like, dude, start an import business. With Cameron retiring, like, there's no cool shit coming in anymore. Yeah, I don't know if you can. I think those spider-tailed vipers are pretty tied up legally. Where are they from? Aren't they from like Pakistan or somewhere? Like in the mountains of Pakistan, if I remember. Yeah, yeah, you'll get a lot of people wasting your time. Yeah, your best bet is to talk to somebody here in the US that's already importing and see if they can help you out. Because I'm gonna see if Andrew wants to go in on a venomous order. Possible. Were they Iran and Iraq? For some reason, I was thinking they were in Pakistan. Yeah, I don't know why I was thinking that. No. Yeah, let me know. Let me know what you find out about importation, because next year I do want to get something set up for the Wagglers. I definitely want to get that set up. I'm gonna set up a room for them though. I gotta get a bunch of caging and all that stuff. I think my one Sri Lankan female, I think she's got babies in her, so I'm hoping, since she ate my male, I'm hoping I get some babies out of her, because I want to get a. I really like the Sri Lankans and want to have that group, but well, for like years I've wanted to start something with Wagglers, so I'm gonna try to get that set up for next year and go from there. But yeah, let me know. But all right, man, I gotta jump off here. Good talking to everybody. And anybody wants to come on and promote their shit, let me know. If anybody wants to come on and hold on, someone's texting me. Who the fuck's texting me? Um, anyone who wants to come on the podcast and talk, pretty much everybody's welcome to come on, hang out, talk about snakes. You're good to go. And yeah, let me know if anybody wants to do a free promotion Friday or something like that. And if anybody wants to jump on here and sell and promote their shit, more than welcome to. So I got to get back to my list of 50 different videos I'm putting out. Between the podcast, these lives, and the last 4 videos of on the different price points of starting a business, retic business, I got to get back to making some other videos. So, but all right, good talking to everybody.